I woke up in the bright hospital room. I couldn't remember what happened or how I got there. I sat up but heard rattling coming from my ankles and wrists. What type of hospital is this? Which eye was I though trying to break free of the metal chains? It was so bright, the lights just shone in my eyes. I felt blind and trapped, confused and scared to say the least. The bed sheets had some red stains on it, but I didn't think much of it at first. I was wearing a standard hospital gown, but my clothes were still on underneath it. In denial, I thought it had to be a prank. It couldn't be real. What kind of hospital chains their patients up? That's when the lights went off. It was dark, nothing. There were no windows, no form of light anywhere. The door, a metal door, shut it open. I pretended to sleep. It didn't work. I couldn't remember anything. A person, not sure it was male or female, walked through the door, peeking my eyes open just a smidge. I saw they were a suit, carrying a box. They spoke. I couldn't hear. I can't remember. It's very hazy. They injected me with some sort of liquid. I screamed in pain but couldn't hear it. It felt like burning acid ran through my veins. They unhooked me and brought me to a large glass tank. More of that substance was in pumps on either side of the tank. They sat me in a chair and locked me in it. The substance started filling up the tank. I was thrashing around, screaming, but I could not feel or hear. The substance reached me. I was shoved under, crying and screaming. I couldn't breathe. It entered my lungs. It hurt like hell. More of the burning acid entered through my body. I was begging. They drained the acid-like substance. I felt myself become dizzy and weak. The same person from before me. Although I was weak, I had to get out. I kicked them and bit them, piercing their skin and tasting their blood. I was grossed out myself, but they were too focused on the fact that they were contaminated that I was able to get out. I was tired and hungry as I ran through the building, 5 giant stories high. I ran down the stairs. It'd be faster since anyone going after me would think I tried the elevator. I was unstable but not stupid. The place, when I got outside, the look of that damned building engraved in my mind. It was broken down, dirty, graffiti painted all over it. It looked like there had been a fire. I was going to take my chances. I looked inside. It was broken and dirty, not like what I'd just seen. The person I saw chasing me was dead. They were limp in a corner and the stairs were broken. The elevator shaft was empty and sparking. I was more than confused, but I knew I had to leave. I stepped back outside. The front of the building revealed the truth. I didn't know what was going on. It was then I realized I didn't know my name, how old I was, where I was, etc. I was scared. I walked down the jagged road barefoot, the rocks and rubble scratching my feet. I heard a ringing sound, but faint, oh so faint. I recognized it as my phone and I put it on speaker, answering the caller labeled Mom. I don't remember what she said, but she was clearly worried about me. I said I was by an abandoned hospital type thing. Fear struck her voice. She asked what it looked like and I explained. She spoke carefully and calmly. That's where Grandma died. I obviously asked what she meant. I remember her voice. I remember the words. I remember being terrified. Well, Grandma was very weak. I remember getting a call. I went inside and saw a bed with chains. The day Grandma woke up, they not remembering where or who she was. Folks said they injected some type of acid into her, putting her in a tank of acid. She was so close to escaping when the place erupted in flames, killing her and everyone else there. Why are you by the place? How did you even get there? I didn't answer. All I did was cry, begging for her to bring me home. I realized I had lived my grandmother's memory. I didn't know how or why. I wasn't even born when this took place. 4 hours. 4 hours is how long it took for my mom to pick me up. She smiled at me and wiped my eyes, filling me in on what happened on the way home. She said I was shopping, but when it got too late she called me multiple times, but every time I answered it was static and Grandma begging for help. Grandma begged and begged until my mom's last call before the 4 picked up the phone. Grandma was crying and whimpering, now begging my mother to keep the children safe, to keep us away from the place. We got home later that night. My mom couldn't sleep and nor could I. I felt a breeze on my cheek. I looked over and there she was, my grandma. She was smiling at me as she grabbed my hand. Her soft voice, her gentle whisper rang in my ears. Thank you, sweetie, I love you. I didn't know how to react. I was silent. I woke up the next morning, my memory was restored and my grandma was gone. I did the only thing I could think of. I responded to what she said last night. Why, you're welcome, I love you too. I heard my door open. I looked up, my mom staring at me in shock. Did you see her? I nodded confused. Did you respond? I shook my head. Not immediately. Why? My mom said nothing. No reason. Never. Answer her. I looked up that hospital on my mom's computer. Millions of thousands of things popped up about my grandma until I'd found what I was looking for. I pressed on the link. I was deeply glad I ignored her last night. You answer her with, what? Her. She'll consider you disrespectful and make you go through the same thing she did. You answer her at all, you'll suffer the same fate as she. My grandma was experimented on. She was a test subject. And I saw and felt everything she did, but I didn't die, and I'm grateful. I'm still scared for those who see her, but if you do, ignore her. Please.